Welcome, everyone. Actually, I don't even need these right now. How's it going? All right. Let's see. Yeah. I decided to make my own little thing. Turns out I have an iPhone and I have a iMovie, and I decided to kind of mess around a little bit with it. I don't think I'm going to stick with that one, but I'm having fun playing with it. So maybe and yes, and inevitably the quote from Cherry K is about to drop in the chat. Yeah, I know. I had no plans on going live at all. I had absolutely no plans on it whatsoever, and I was sitting there messing with this thing, with the app, and um, it's like whatever they like. It's whatever. It's some trailer thing that some feature that they have, and I'm probably not going to stick with it. But I thought I'd Cherry K, I love you. Oh man. So now there's a lot of other creators right now that are live talking about this, that have been covering this, and they probably have more information for you than I do. So Suzanne Morphew, basically, I'm just going to kind of thumb through an article because I could only find one article on this. So Suzanne Morphew has been missing since Mother's Day weekend of last year. A lot of speculation revolved around whether or not Barry Morphew, her husband, was responsible for her disappearance. And today, Barry Morphew has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in her disappearance. So, this has been since I'm just going to get this over with now, okay? Since Annie and I met, first started our YouTube association, this case has been a thing, and I've always been the one to be like, man, and me and another creator that I've rivaled with, ironically, were in agreement on this, because I just never thought that there was enough evidence to jump to the conclusion and publicly, pitchfork this dude. But I mean, now he's arrested and he's charged with first-degree murder, which tells me that that they have enough evidence that they think is enough to convict him on. Whether or not they have a body, I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and read the article. So the husband of Suzanne Morphew, Chaffee County mother, who was reported missing on Mother's Day weekend of 2020, has been arrested. Barry Morphew faces charges of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. That sounds familiar. Suzanne Morphew, 49, was reported missing on May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day, and the process of the investigation in the days and months following Morphew's disappearance have been carefully protected by the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, which is the lead agency in the case. Since that time, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office has worked closely and tirelessly with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the 11th Judicial District in an intensive investigation to find Suzanne Morphew. Over the last year, there have been numerous searches, countless investigative interviews, and hundreds of tips reported in this case, according to the sheriff's office. So here's a list of what we know about the investigation so far. So far, a private team has come to Colorado to search for Suzanne Morphew. What happened to Suzanne Morphew? Dr. Oz, Nancy Grace, to discuss chlorine stench found in Barry Morphew's hotel room, which I didn't think much of. Here's the thing. It's not, I want to be clear about something. I've never said that I thought that Barry Morphew was innocent. I want to be very, very, very clear about this. And even Annie can attest to this. I've never actually said that I think that he's innocent, because I never actually thought that he was innocent. But I also did not feel that there was enough information to assume that he's guilty. Throughout this entire ordeal, I've been saying that if I can come up with something to counter what someone says, that's the same as creating doubt. And I don't want to have doubt when I'm about to start accusing a husband who could very well be missing his wife, and very well be missing her more than anybody besides their 2 daughters. So yeah, that's why I'm real careful about that stuff. And you know, you tell me about a chlorine smell in a hotel room, and one person says that the pool was closed, and then another person says that the pool, actually people were swimming in it anyway, even though it was closed. And so these sort of things are, you know, when I think about them, I'm gonna go, well, I mean, that doesn't prove anything. So I'm gonna keep going with the facts here. So there's been no remains found regarding Suzanne. Barry says, I want to bring her back home. Hundreds joined in search for Suzanne Morphew that Thursday. Chaffee County Sheriff, no new leads following searches of 3 properties. Suzanne Morphew's house for sale in Chaffee County. She's been missing since Mother's Day. Search for Suzanne Morphew pushes on despite silence from Chaffee County Sheriff. And that's another thing. With, you know, none of us are detectives. We're not even sleuths, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't sit here and realistically speculate on the outcome of these cases when we don't know what law enforcement knows, when we don't know what the actual professionals are, we don't know what the actual professionals who are trained in investigating things like this, we don't know what kind of evidence they actually have. And I actually like it when law enforcement keeps these things very close to the vest, because I don't want their investigation to be obstructed in any way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, yeah, we talk about true crime and we talk about all kinds of different things here. We you know, but when it comes to true crime, the reason why I talk about it is because I genuinely want to see justice for these victims. And so I don't want to help perpetuate a cycle of pushing for more information from law enforcement when they're the professionals that we're relying on to find justice for this family. And this is interesting going forward. You guys are going to see what I'm talking about. Annie will take interest here. Suzanne Morphew's brother provides an update on the search. And her brother is quoted in saying, "I'm afraid this is domestic abuse." Says that the brother is not that the brother says that Suzanne, or that Barry, is not helping and participating in the search. He's been reported that he was wielding a shotgun to keep people off of his property. And here in Fox 31 News, the channel that the news station that I'm actually reading this from, mentions Profiling Evil, Mr. Mike King, who is a new friend of 10 to Life. And he has a great channel, and he's been studying this. He's been following this case closely. Now, it says here that Profiling Evil, their team helps enlist volunteers to help find Suzanne Morphew. So it's basically tipping their hats here to Mike King and his team for enlisting volunteers and recruiting people and building on manpower to search for her, which I think is pretty amazing. And Barry Morphew responds to this, saying that that has nothing to do with Suzanne missing. Suzanne Morphew's husband left the Denver hotel room reeking of chlorine, littered with insurance letters and coworker claims. And I do admit that's a bad look, man. It's a bad look, but it doesn't prove guilt. So I stand by how I approach this entire time, guys. But so far, I'm not seeing a whole lot of details regarding Barry Morphew's arrest. I'm going to continue to look up articles, see if anybody else has anything here. But I think it's really cool that they acknowledged Profiling Evil, man. I think that's great. Good for Mike. That's great. Because I gotta tell you, I love when a channel on YouTube who covers true crime cases, and they do it in a helpful manner, and they're acknowledged by mainstream media. I think that's great, because I do believe that this community, if we conduct ourselves responsibly when it comes to these cases, we can actually make a difference. We can actually be helpful. But the very first thing I do believe is knowing our place and being realistic and understanding that our goal as YouTubers should not be to crack the case. Our goal as YouTubers should simply be to bring awareness. That's just my personal opinion. Our goal as YouTubers should be to bring awareness and actually assist at the capacity that we're welcome to by professionals who are actually trying to find justice for these victims and their families. Let's see. Julie Witcherman's got more stuff here. Tampering with evidence and attempting to coerce a public official, along with a first-degree murder charge. I wonder what that's all about. Coerce a public official. All right. And I found another more recent article. Let me see if I can find. Let's see. Yeah, Barry was arrested on charges of first-degree murder after deliberation, tampering with physical evidence, and an attempt to influence a public servant, according to documents. So what, did he try to bribe somebody or what? Did he try to bribe somebody, or did he try to intimidate someone, or did he blackmail someone? And who? Because that looks real bad. Yeah, I'm thinking bribes too, Cherry K. I'm thinking bribes too. And it says here that the Chaffee County, it will hold an update. They will hold a press conference with an update at 3 p.m. today, which I'm guessing is 3 p.m. Colorado time, which means I'll be at work, which means I won't be able to cover that live. But I'll go over it tonight after I get off work, but it will be a very late night stream because I don't get off work until very late. But what I'm of the opinion that we should be focusing on, sorry about my cam, guys. What I'm of the opinion that we should be focusing on at this time is the fact that we're one step closer to justice for Suzanne. The fact that we're one step closer to bringing closure for Suzanne's brother and for Suzanne's daughters. And still remains to be seen. And it still remains to be seen. Now, here's the thing. I'm not one of those people that's 100%, innocent until proven guilty. Now, yes, this man needs to be, he deserves his day in court before we assume that he's guilty. I still stand by this, but I'm also a realist and I trust law enforcement and I trust my I trust my instincts when it comes to my history of following true crime cases. And normally when law enforcement conducts themselves in an investigation the way that they have in this investigation so far, what that tells me is they probably would not have arrested this man unless they have what they believe to be an airtight case. Because remember, and we were talking about this when I had Police Wife Life on my panel when we were discussing Mr. Duggar. This guy, what she explained, being a wife of a law enforcement officer, which I have a lot of respect for, she reiterated a point that I'm always making when it comes to these cases. And this particular case, I emphasized this point many, many, many times when I talked about this case a year ago. And that is, you've got to trust law enforcement to do their jobs. And law enforcement's job, they don't just place someone under arrest because they suspect someone. They place someone under arrest when they feel that they can convict beyond a reasonable doubt, when they feel that they have enough evidence to convict on. So we have no idea how much evidence law enforcement has. Now, what I'm very much hoping for is that arrest affidavit is going to be released very soon. Suzanne Morphew, being a woman who I believe is just turned 50, the same rules don't apply when there's a minor involved, because a lot of these cases there's kids involved, and so the detailed arrest affidavits, those don't usually get released to the public when there's minors involved. But I'm hoping that this arrest affidavit becomes public record and we can go over it in detail and fully understand what law enforcement plans on using to convict this man with, what they've provided the prosecution to convict this man with. So yeah, Kelly G, I'm thinking they probably have an airtight case too. Um, it just, like I said, the way that they have conducted themselves through this investigation, being very, very, very close to the chest. I think I'm pretty sure that they've probably got enough to what they believe is going to be enough to convict on. So I'm just glad. I don't care about uh I don't care about focusing on whether or not people should have been uh jumping to conclusions too early or blah blah blah. That's not even important to me. um what is important to me is that an arrest was made, which tells me that law enforcement has come one step closer to bringing this family justice and bringing Suzanne justice. uh Now the tragedy here is that there is another side to that coin when it comes to some closure, and this arrest and the charges involved in this arrest indicate obviously that Suzanne is no longer with us, or at least that law enforcement does not believe her to be with us any longer. And we've kind of got that idea for a long time, but we're good-hearted people and we held out hope the entire time. But we're also, most of us are realists, I would say. And we saw them digging around the property. You don't you don't dig in a missing persons case unless you suspect or you are entertaining the possibility, uh or even the suspicion that the person you're looking for is no longer with us. So and it's such a sad, crazy thing, guys. I mean, do you remember when they were searching around that property that he owned, and there were all these different like sections of holes? You know, I remember feeling a certain way when I was watching that. And I tend to make I tend to, in order to practice self-awareness, I tend to make observations of my own feelings. And I remember feeling hope that they were actually going to find something on that property. And I remember feeling horrible about that because I didn't want to hope that they were going to find her body on that property. I was hoping for the closure, but in cases like this, I think, I mean, we all feel deep down in our hearts that there's that possibility and even likelihood that this person is no longer with us, even though we hold out hope that they'll be found safely, but in a situation like this where you've got a woman who is as close to her two kids as she was loved in the community. She was loved by she was loved by the community. She was loved by her friends. She was active. She was very social. This is a person who seemed to really adore her life. So it doesn't make sense that she would just get up and just disappear without a trace from anyone. And especially her two daughters, she would not just leave them behind. And it doesn't even seem like she would even leave her husband behind, considering the lifestyle. We've heard rumors of their lifestyle, which I also believe to be completely and totally irrelevant. Those rumors of that lifestyle may somehow contribute to understanding Barry's actions a little bit better into understanding him a little bit better. If it turns out he is guilty of this crime. Now, yeah, sorry. It's just kind of when you get news like this and you just get into a rush to go live and share it with your listeners because you know they're counting on you for it. That's really what my focus was on, and right now it's just kind of hitting me that the reality of the fact that Suzanne Morphew is probably gone, and I'm really saddened by that. For those of you who've been listening to me for a long time, I've always compared Suzanne Morphew to Missy Beavers. Those two victims had a lot in common. But sadly, Missy Beavers has yet to get any justice, and I fear probably never will. So far, Dexter Beasley, no. So far, we don't have anything on a body. But yeah, I remember feeling, and then I remember feeling kind of guilty because I was hoping that they would actually find something because I wanted closure so bad. But I think we all deep down kind of knew that there's definitely foul play involved here, and in a situation like this, the victim rarely ever comes out alive, almost never. I mean, it's been a year, and I just, I feel so bad for this family and this community right now. But if Barry Morphew is guilty of this crime, I absolutely hope that he gets the maximum. Well, Cherry K, here's what I think, because this is going to be interesting as far as the true crime aspect goes. When we follow true crime cases, guys, what I think is going to be very interesting is how Barry Morphew handles this moving forward. Is he going to be cooperative? Is he going to say, you know what, you got me? Or is he going to allow his lawyers to continue to work for him the way that they have been? And is he just going to completely shut down and continue to not cooperate with law enforcement this entire time? Because I defended the idea of Barry Morphew not cooperating, if you guys remember. And the reason why I did that was because we don't know the circumstances of the case. We honestly don't know the circumstances of the case. And yes, she did beat cancer twice. This is a very resilient woman. This isn't a woman who's definitely suicidal, because you don't fight a battle against cancer twice, beat it, and then go and kill yourself. It's more than a little counterproductive. But I did defend possibilities of why Barry Morphew was not cooperating with police. And let's say you are innocent of this crime, and you're the husband of this of this missing person, right? But the police suspect you, right? Let's say Richard Kimball. Let's go back to a fictional story. I'm going to reference a fictional story, right? Richard Kimball, The Fugitive, Harrison Ford. You guys remember that movie? Okay. He was innocent of this crime. He was absolutely innocent of this crime. And when he's being questioned by law enforcement, by the Chicago PD, here he is, and he's like, I don't have any. He's like, I don't. His attitude is, I don't have anything to hide. You know, they've got him sitting in a room full of cops and no lawyer. He is his character in the movie is a surgeon. He's like a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon, one of the two, but he makes a lot of money, right? So he's got a good lawyer, right? He's got a good lawyer. But here he is, all proud, being like, no, I just want to find who killed my wife. Who killed my wife? You find this man. He had a mechanical arm, right? So you've got him, and he's just like, I don't care about the law. Find the man who killed my wife. And you expect this kind of behavior in real life from the husband of a missing person. But that's not reality, man. That's not reality. Because as soon as cops start asking questions and they start to feel like they're putting some pressure on you, then what do, man? You shut up, you let your lawyers do your job. I'm not saying a word without my lawyer. That's what Richard Kimball should have done. The funny thing is, he would have never even had to meet Tommy Lee Jones in the first place in that whole movie, probably, if he had the kind of lawyer that he easily could have afforded and did everything that lawyer said and applied and applied his rights with said lawyer. So let's think about that for a second. So there's no way this whole past year I'm gonna sit there and realistically be like, oh, well, I mean, the guy is sitting there telling me and telling the world that he feels like the police are focused on him when they should be focused on someone else. Well, there's really nothing you can do about what police are focused on. There's nothing you can actually do about what police are actually focused on. So you've got this guy, and he feels he's being persecuted by the police and he's being targeted unfairly. Well, then, yeah. What's a guy like that going to do? If he's innocent, he's going to shut the hell up and he's going to do whatever his lawyer tells him to do. That's exactly what anyone would do, realistically, with any common sense. So I never faulted Barry Morphew for not cooperating with the investigation to the extent that law enforcement felt that he should have been. Not if they were unfairly targeting him as a suspect. Now, I don't feel that that's the case at this point. At this point, I do believe that they would not have made an arrest if they did not have sufficient evidence to, or what they believe to be sufficient evidence to convict him with. Yeah, and I will be at work, unfortunately, Caleb. I don't know what Annie's got going on today, but I really hope that she covers that. And I will try to moderate that chat as best as I can from work, if I can. Well, I mean, sweet crazy, we don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know if they got him for sure, but it's safe to assume, more or less, right? It's safe to assume, because considering, this is the thing, man, if you've got a really expensive and good lawyer who's prepared to go to trial, and you've got the funds to pay this dude for a trial, or this woman, whatever you've got as your attorney, if you've got the funds, then that lawyer's gonna try to get you off. And so if I'm law enforcement, I'm going to be anticipating that, and I'm going to be collecting as much evidence as I can. If I'm the DA, I'm telling law enforcement, I want more. Collect every single little thing you can. I don't want this guy to be able to breathe in court. I want to overwhelm this jury. That's not necessarily true, though, sweet crazy. That's not necessarily true. Now, they shouldn't arrest him on first-degree murder unless they have enough to convict him on. But we also happen to know that this happens from time to time, and they botch things. Look at the Casey Anthony case, guys. Look at the Casey Anthony case. You know, it's funny. We always refer to it as the Casey Anthony case. We don't refer to it as the Kaylee Anthony case. We refer to it as the Casey Anthony case because somehow the public consensus, it's the thing that's true, but nobody actually says out loud. But the public behaves in a way as though Casey Anthony's acquittal was more of an injustice than Kaylee actually being murdered. So you know what I mean? Does that make sense, guys? So now Casey Anthony is the name that we remember. Casey Anthony is the name that we remember. And that's a sad, sad thing. And you know why we remember her name? We remember her name because we remember her as the person who got away with murder. Because we know she did it. And the prosecution had enough evidence to convict her. They had plenty of evidence to convict her. They just failed at presenting it right. That's all that happened. They failed at presenting it right. But more importantly, she had an attorney that was very good at creating doubt. And that is all a defense attorney has to do, is create doubt. Yeah, no, Barry Morphew, he does pretty well for himself, from what I understand. I mean, this case has been dead. There's been no updates in this case for almost a year. So this case has been dead. We just don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. That's my point, sweet crazy. Is in theory you're correct. What I'm saying is don't forget to consider the things that I mentioned, such as the Casey Anthony trial and what happened there. You know, just because they have all this evidence doesn't mean that they're going to deliver it properly in court, and it doesn't mean that the defense is going to do. It doesn't mean that the defense is going to fail at creating doubt. We don't know yet, Norma Thomas. All we know is what his charges are. And again, I'll repeat those charges. First degree murder. First degree murder after deliberation, tampering with physical evidence, and an attempt to influence a public servant, according to the documents. I'm trying to see what else we have on here, but the thing is I don't think we're going to know anything else until that press conference, guys. Oh, nothing. I just put you out on blast, Annie. That's all that happened while you were gone. I was saying that there is a press conference taking place at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I was saying that I'm really hoping, because I'm going to be at work at the time, so I'm really hoping that you will do an impromptu live and cover that press conference. I think all of us are hoping that you will do an impromptu live and cover that press conference, because I think we all really want to hear your perspective on this. But yeah, so real quick to bring you guys up to speed, I think we're going to get more information. Hopefully we'll get more information from these press conferences usually turn out to be pretty disappointing. In these press conferences and in cases that are more likely to get justice, we end up hearing a very familiar song and dance from the people conducting the press conference, which is more along the lines of those old lyrics of, I'm not going to discuss details of an open investigation and blah, 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 blah. So that's probably what's going to take place, a whole lot of that. But I'm hoping they'll give us a little more than just his charges. I'd like to know if they are close to finding a body. I'd like to know if they found a body. I'd like to know. All right. So Annie says she's going to try. Don't get on her case if she doesn't. Annie's a mom, and a mom on the way in delicate condition. So, she's got a job. So for all you ain't got no job, understand that some of us got jobs. You're trying to work. And unfortunately, these little live streams are a distant second to us making a living. And yes, a lot of people are going to be covering the press conference. It's not so much about watching the press conference so much as it is. Yes, there's a ton of creators are going to cover the press conference. I'm sure Duty Ron is going to cover the press conference. I'm sure It's a Crime is going to cover the press conference. Both are live right now as we speak. But that and I'm sure they're going to be very informative press conference. I'm sure that Profiling Evil is going to be doing something very soon, considering how active they were in this investigation in the first place. And yeah, Annie, that's another thing that you missed because you stepped away. In the article that I read, which I've already exited out of, I don't have it up here anymore, but they acknowledged Profiling Evil. It was a local news station in Colorado that acknowledged Mike and Profiling Evil for assisting Suzanne's brother with the search in that area, which I thought was really, really cool because I like to see good, channels with good heart and soul, actually get actually get some recognition for covering these things. It actually really grosses me out when they get coverage and they don't deserve it. And I've seen that happen more than once. Nikki Venable, I wish I could too, but I'm sorry. I got to go to work. I got to go to work, mama. Cherry K's at work right now. I didn't know Cherry K had a job. Okay, so Profiling Evil is live. And guys, I actually, yeah, I got up and I was like, all right, I got enough time. I'm gonna go to the gym. It's gonna be good. Go to the gym, take a nice long workout. And then somebody texts me with Barry Morphew has been placed under arrest for Suzanne's murder. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm not going to the gym right now. I guess I'm going to get... Yeah, so here I am. But, Cherry K, I love you. Yes, and check out Annie's channel if you don't know. I mean, everybody here knows Annie's channel, but if you're not subscribed to Annie, make sure subscribe to 10 to Life. It's good stuff. Dylan's at the gym now listening. I feel you. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be, so I started, I told people already, I gave up on listening to music, bro. I sat there, I was talking about music that's for like ever last night on my live, and I stopped listening to music, dude. It's not like I quit it, like it's a drug or something. It's just, it bores me. Old music that I've always loved, I'm sick of at this point, and I have no interest in any new music because I'm a boomer. And now I'm listening to audiobooks. And right now I am listening to Mindhunter as I work out. And it's fantastic, but I'm going to be listening to YouTube streams while I work out. And I'm going to go do that now. And you have yoga today, Jessica Moon. Yoga is still working out. It's still working out. Hey, listen, Cherry K. If I wanted to listen to Hollywood vampires, I'd listen to the original artist that they steal all their songs from. Do it right the first time. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just checking y'all out in chat real quick before I phantasmagorical. Yeah, I mean, dude, I can only listen to an 80s playlist so many times. You know, like I can't do it, man. And 90s, I was already like when it comes to, you heard my rant on 90s music last night. So I'm not even doing it, dude. I'm not even doing it. That's because I have I'm not technically a boomer. Cherry K just likes to call me a boomer, you know, like it's you know, she just likes to call me a boomer because I'm old. It's a jab. It's not, I'm not technically a boomer, you know, I'm technically Gen X, but But yeah, it's sarcasm. It's an exaggeration. It's a figure of speech to describe me as a boomer, prudently pernicious, prudently pernicious. I have to say it in that voice. Prudently pernicious. Little prudent, little prudently pernicious. All right, that's enough. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I love you guys very, very much. I may go live real late tonight. I may not, but this is a big deal. So any developments that take place, you know, you're gonna get my 2 cents on it, and big middle fingers up to 10 to life for being right on this one. You win this round, Annie. What is it the old 80s cartoons guys used to say, man? You fool! You win this round. And they say things like, don't patronize me. I've never heard anybody actually tell somebody in real life. Never actually heard anybody tell somebody in real life not to patronize them. Don't patronize me. But yet I see that like in every TV show. It's the weirdest thing, right? I always hear somebody in a TV show go, don't patronize me. It's like drama script writing 101. It's in there. Y'all hear my washing machine going nuts? You were born in 79? I don't know. I think that's Gen X, maybe. That's probably Gen X. I don't know. All right, I'm leaving for real this time. All right, I love you guys. We will do this again very soon, my friends.